let's start with this. I fully, 100,000% with no hedge, do not believe that you can teach entrepreneurship, right? So that's awkward. What I mean by that is that, it's crazy for me that word is now considered like cool and good. Like when I was your age, 20 years ago, entrepreneur meant that you were a fucking loser that was figuring it out, right? So watching what's happening to the world right now, where this has become a hot topic, is interesting to me, and like I'm super pumped that people now value that in a different way than they did I grew up a DNF student, right? And the reason I grew up a DNF student was I was unable to sit in a room like this and listen to whoever was sitting up here because all I wanted to do was sell shit, right? And so that's all I've ever known. I've had no other gear. Somewhere around 4th grade when I got an F on a science test, I literally that day was like, yeah, that makes sense to me because I don't give a fuck about Saturn, right? That's not who I am. And so I think if there was anything I could do, that would be awesome for you guys to make the most money I could make, I would create a test or a drug that allowed people to become self-aware. I think the number one thing that I could tell you, because I'm desperate to bring value since I'm here, is I think everybody lies to themselves. And I think all of you want certain things to be happening with you. You want yourself to be something. And I think what you need to do more of, and if I can give you, clearly I'm coming out the gate with my best piece of advice. I really do think, you have to audit who you actually are. I think that America as a society has done a really good job in selling us how to fix the things that we naturally aren't. And there's a lot of money being made on us forming into something we can't be. And I, either through massive ego and bravado, complete ignorance, I don't know what it was early on in my life, maybe the outrageous level of self-esteem that my mom instilled in me, I was able to quickly, very, very early on, and let me take it back because a lot of you don't know, I was born in Belarus in the former Soviet Union. And so I came here when I was 3 and we were super poor. I lived in a studio apartment. I know what it tastes like to walk 5 miles to Kmart, buy toilet paper, come home, and then sit there for an hour and split the toilet paper to get efficiency. That's a huge advantage for me, right? Like the fact that I've been working 19 hours a day, every day for the last 20 years is easy for me. It's the only gear I knew, right? I was poor. I sucked shit at school. It was the only gear I had, right? So I sit here with enormous disrespect and with enormous assumptions around all of you that you're just too soft to beat me, right? That I think that you've had it better and that alone doesn't allow you to beat me. And that's how I think of entrepreneurship in a very rugged, very raw, much dirtier way. I've been investing for about 7 years. The first 3 things I invested in 2007, after I built my wine business and I realized this internet thing was gonna be big, right, was Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr, right? And then I've collectively gotten stupider since that moment, mainly because I didn't think of myself as an investor when I invested in those companies. I just thought that Ev Williams, Zucks, and David Karp were really fucking smart and were gonna win, right? I'm desperately competitive and wanna be the person that brings the most value to you out of all these talks. I secretly sit here and say, oh, they're gonna get all these people that they've heard of, but I'm gonna be the one that tells them something that actually fucking matters. And that one thing is, you need to bet on your strengths and don't give a fuck about what you suck at. Way too many people in this room are gonna spend the next 30, 40 years of their lives trying to check the boxes of the things that they're not as good at, and that you're gonna waste a fuckload of time and lose. I highly recommend auditing yourself, or if you have no fucking empathy or EQ or self-awareness, then find somebody in your family or friendship that does and let them tell you who you are. And once you believe that, either for yourself or someone else told you, go directly all chips, all into that, because that is the only possible way, in my opinion, watching from the outside, that is, let me rephrase, that is a very highly likely way of over-indexing, because the truth is, if you want to be an anomaly, you've got to act like one.